Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? It's your boy GD, the sports actor, and we're just going to get right into it. So, the New York Giants defeat the Seattle Seahawks. And when I tell you that this game was electrifying, when I tell you that this game was so exciting, I can tell you these things because I was actually there. Yes, I went and flew to Seattle to go watch the Giants take on the Seahawks. And let me tell you, 12th man is real. The Lumen Field, a gorgeous stadium, just very big in size when you walk up to it. Just seems like a very gigantic stadium, and the 12th man crowd was definitely putting the decibel numbers up as they were definitely just giving energy when it was needed on third down conversions, on first downs for their team, on kicks against ours. It's just any single time that you needed the crowd to get into it so that you can have an advantage as a team, 12th man was there to support every single time. And so, well, except at the end there, but we're going to get into that for sure. So, like I said, the New York Giants won 29-20 in what I'd like to say a dominant fashion, especially without their star player Malik Nabers. We didn't have him, unfortunately. Him and also Devin Singletary, two of our starters, were not able to participate and were not given the green light, and so we moved forward without them. And we did well. We did well without those guys. And big shout out to DJ. Very big shout out to DJ. DJ is balling right now, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Jones is balling, and let's look at some of his stats right now. For the game itself against the Seahawks, Daniel Jones went 23 for 34, 257 yards, 2 TDs, and 0 interceptions. That's a good day. I'll tell you that right now. That is a good day. And so DJ also, to throw that in there, he had 38 yards on the ground through 11 rushes. Definitely dropped his shoulder a couple times, ready to take the impact. Played strong against the defense, stayed in the pocket, but when needed, he rolled out and he balled out. And so let's start off there. DJ played a great game, and that's where it starts. Next, we're going to Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton also played a great game. 11 targets his way. 8 receptions of those 11 targets, 122 yards, and 1 TD. Longest went for about 41 yards, which was a glorious, beautiful pass across the field, which led to a touchdown by Slay. And it's just what I really enjoy out of seeing Darius Slayton go off is that the fact that we had Malik Nabers out for this game, because he did so much from week 1 up until the point of his injury, from week 1 up until week 4, having to sit out week 5. A lot of teams people might count us out, but what I was really looking forward to was the fact that this now allows DJ to go out there and show what he can do with all the other receivers that need to get involved. And that includes, people like Slayton, Wandell, getting people like Tracy into the mix. We really went out of our way and really did ourselves a service for this game and figured out who else is going to step up besides Malik Nabers. Because Malik Nabers is our certified, bona fide wide receiver 1. But we need that other next man up type of mentality. And not even next man, the next 2 men behind Malik Nabers. We have Wandell. And it was really nice to see Darius Slayton step up and be able to walk off the field with 122 yards. And he balled out. He really did. And so super, super happy to see that. I also saw Theo Johnson getting into the mix. He had 5 targets, 5 receptions. He caught all of them, 48 yards. So that's telling me he was there when he needed to be there as a safety blanket, or there to convert when he needed to convert. And he was. He played well blocking on the field. He played well in the passing game and receiving game. And Theo Johnson is going to be a good player. He's going to find, and I know Brian Dable is going to be able to scheme up strategy to get him a little bit more involved. But for right now, rookie coming in, I really do believe that, it's just growing pains and that he really is developing week after week after week. And so super happy to see that. Next, we have Wandell Robinson, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 36 yards, and 1 TD. Wandell was a bit quiet, I would say. I expected him to be a little bit more dynamic, but that's why you have Darius Slayton. That's why you have other guys on the field to help other players when maybe they're not performing as highly as you would expect them to. But still, to walk away with the TD, that's always good to see. Always nice to put one up on the board. So congrats to Wandell on that note. And so, as I said before, DJ played great, moved the ball well. Everybody got a piece. Everybody got to eat. We still didn't see Jalen Hyatt too much, but we did see the deep balls. The deep balls were there. And when DJ had spoken in the post conference after the game that we had last against the Cowboys, they had mentioned to him, there looked like there were 2 to 3 passes that you could have hit, where you had Hyatt, you had Slayton, and they didn't hit. And DJ made a comment, and at the time I didn't really, understand the comment too much, but in a sense it was almost like a Three Bears type of thing, with the porridge and the oatmeal. And he mentioned that week before he was too short. Week against the Cowboys, he overthrew him. And this week, I guess he found the right piece of porridge. I think he found the right bowl, found that right mix, because DJ was hitting dimes, breadbasket plays across the middle of the field, and just making some great decisions, and it was just super awesome to be able to be there live, to be able to see and feel the energy that we felt. And I just want to give a big shout out to the New York Giants fans, because I was surprised, as many other people were surprised, at how many Giant fans there were in the crowd. We were out there. I mean, Giant fans were out there by the numbers. You can hear us in the crowd. It definitely wasn't silent. So if you're talking about a 12th man, we were definitely there, not only as a team to challenge the Seahawks, but as a fan base to challenge the Seahawks as well. And I feel like we stepped up. So I'm going to throw us in there for the offense and the defensive side and say that we attributed and contributed to the success of beating the Seattle Seahawks. Now, if we look at the Seahawks and look at, what went wrong for them, I really would say that it was the Giants' defense. I mean, yes, we put points on the board. We moved the ball well. The only time, we really hurt ourselves was on that 1 yard line. Couldn't get the ball in. We had 3 attempts, and on the last attempt, Eric Gray gets stood up, ball gets punched out, and they run it back for a TD. That was about the only time they really had the opportunity to do something on us that was aggressive. Otherwise, the defense held this offense to a standstill. You have Kenneth Walker, who rushed 5 attempts, 19 yards, 0 TDs. His longest went for 7 yards. You have a guy like Geno Smith, who threw 28 for 40, 284 yards, 1 TD. And he also experienced a couple sacks. Not too bad for Geno, but the 1 TD, that's where you get hurt. Couldn't score on the New York Giants, whether it was the red zone or moving the ball too much down the field without, a penalty. Or actually, we didn't really get too many penalties called, which I was very, very happy about. On the receiving end, you have Tyler Lockett. I'm just going to go down this list real quick. You have Tyler Lockett, 6 targets, 4 receptions, only 75 yards. You had Kenneth Walker, 8 targets, 7 receptions, 57 yards. You have DK Metcalf, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 55 yards. You have JSN, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 31 yards. Noah Fant, 3 targets, 3 receptions, 24 yards. Do you see where I'm getting at? The Giants held this Seahawks receiving core, which is a very good one, I'd like to say. They have a lot of weapons across the board, whether it's JSN on the slant, Tyler Lockett on the go, DK Metcalf can do it all, or throw the ball high and see if he'll go get it. Noah Fant, use him as a safety pocket. They have weapons all across the board, and the Giants defense is able to hold these guys all under 60 yards, except for Tyler Lockett, who had 75. Otherwise, everybody else was under 60 yards and 0 TDs besides JSN. And so I really just want to, give a big pat on the back to the Giants defense, especially the front 4 guys, because I really feel like that we can attribute the disruption through those 4 guys alone, through Brian Burns, Elijah Chapman, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, DJ Davidson, Raheem Nunez, Roches, Nacho. A lot of these guys on this forefront, whether they were, subbed in or they played for most of the game, this is where the disruption came in for Geno Smith. I mean, Geno just couldn't get anything going. And when you have Geno dancing in the backfield, or you have his anxiety up, you have him confused, and the game flow isn't flowing as well as he would like because this ain't practice, this is the real deal, then you're going to have success. And that's exactly what the Giants did. The Giants disrupted Geno, and, Dexter Lawrence, looking like the Hall of Fame nose tackle that he is, definitely was a big part of that. Just right up the middle, causing a lot of times Geno had to bounce out. And when he has to bounce and decide on whether to run or throw on the run, it doesn't really work too well. I mean, he has to stay inside of a strong pocket. And that's just how Geno Smith plays. It works well against certain teams, but it did not work well against the New York Giants. And so it was truly an amazing game. And one thing that, I find shocking, through this whole thing is that there's no coverage about it. The Giants go ahead and we beat a team like the Seahawks, who is a good team, is on a good pace. If they were 4-2, this game would have been talked about differently, especially as they get geared up to face the 49ers. It would have been a whole different conversation. But because they lost against, the Giants, everyone is still skeptical. So the Giants still have to go into each game with a chip on their shoulder, taking each game one by one, week by week, and strategizing against the team that they're facing that week. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Brian Daboll, because I really do think that he's coaching his ass off. Just the way he's been able to minimize the bad tendencies that Daniel Jones may have and may show going up against certain teams, especially a team like the Seahawks, where you have a guy like Witherspoon who called out Daniel Jones on staring down his first target and knowing that that's where he's going to go. And to be able to turn this around and, run the ball all over them, or throw the ball through open lanes and or throw the ball through coverage in tight spaces and make great decisions. I mean, all that also comes from the coach. Comes from Brian Daboll looking at the tape, all the assistants looking at the tape and figuring out and coming up with a game plan that'll be ready to go against that opponent that week. And that's exactly what we did to minimize the Seahawks. And I was super impressed being there live at how we moved the ball. I mean, the Giants, they moved the ball so well. We didn't stay stuck on our half. We were in enemy territory many times. We converted third downs, and we gave time for DJ to throw in the pocket. We gave time for secondary to clamp top wide receivers, because the defensive front was there to give pressure to the QB. So that's where you have things where guys like Deonte Banks hold people like DK Metcalf to only 4 receptions. I mean, you only get that type of production because the front is doing what they have to do. And it makes Deonte Banks' job that much easier, because he's sticky in coverage. He's going to follow you. He's going to stick with you the whole time. He's not letting you go. And so this was just a great performance by the New York Giants. Super happy to see this win. We have our next battle against the Bengals on a Sunday night primetime game. 5:15 Sunday night Pacific Standard Time, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time, and this will, also be another good challenge. The Bengals aren't doing too well right now. They're 1-4, but you never want to count a team out, especially when they have a lot of skilled players, which the Bengals do. But this is not out of the realm that the Giants could go into this game, and they can go into it with a winning mindset and win out of MetLife while scoring some touchdowns. I mean, we've been scoring touchdowns on the road, but we haven't scored a touchdown yet at home. We definitely got to give the fans something. So I definitely think that's going to change this Sunday. I'm super excited to see this game Sunday night and see this matchup as we continue our pace. If the Giants, when we win this game and go 3-3, then we'll definitely have to start sparking a lot different conversation about who the Giants are and how far the Giants can go. I mean, me personally, as I sit here, I think we should be 3-1. Me personally, as I sit here, I think the Giants are about to go on a nice, strong win streak and compound some of these games to really show that things are coming together. From week 1 to week 5, the Giants have improved. Some teams have fizzled out or plateaued already. But the New York Giants, it seems to be building up some steam. New York Giants seem to be finding some identity through the air and on the ground. And that's exactly what we needed to do to change this season around, to change the narrative around this Giants culture around. And I really do think that the Giants can make a great push into the playoffs. And, I'm going to save that hot take about us leading our NFC East division, which I really do think is possible. We face the Eagles after the Bengals, so we'll get into that a little bit more. But for right now, we have our next opponent, which is the Bengals, and that's who we're focused on. And we're going to have a breakdown and a preview into how we can win that game. And so appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And like I said, what an amazing game. Super, super excited that I was able to go. If you have a team, you love a team, definitely try to set something aside to where you're able to go to a game. Doesn't matter where you sit. The energy is electrifying regardless. Just to be able to be there with fans just as passionate as you, it goes a long way. And so appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And let's continue to ride with Big Blue.